What up everyone, it's your man, Xman87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Marvel Legends X-Men Retro Series Arcade Sentinels 2-pack review. Definitely one of my most anticipated releases for the line this year, so let's see if they deliver. The packaging is awesome as you get this kind of mini mural when you put the two boxes together. I love it. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! Yo, I'm so happy to have these in hand, and one of my speculations before these guys were even revealed, and I'm glad one of my speculations was wrong, but one of them was, besides being an 8-9 inch Build-A-Figure, that it was going to be a Iron Man Model 9 reuse. And it is not. It is better. I'm glad I was wrong there because it's an all-new sculpt, and that's so much better. And they are taller. They're 7.2 inches, as said on the box. And I just love that it's not a straight-up reuse from this Iron Man Model 9 because it would have made them much shorter. I like that they're taller. In the Retro Arcade game, they had that humanoid size, but they were a little bit taller than the X-Men, as you can see. Nothing's reused here. Look at the arms. They're much bulkier and beefier, obviously. Newer torso and longer legs, the boots, all that. It's all different, all new sculpt from scratch, and I absolutely love that about it. And another thing too, I wasn't looking for these guys to be video game accurate. That's not what I was looking for. I was just looking for them to be inspired by it, because if it was truly video game accurate, then they would have to add that entire pixelated deco all over them, and that would just ruin the look for me. I want these guys to blend in with my current Marvel Legends. You'll get some of that kind of shading on the face. We'll get into that later when I get into the close-up, but as you can see here, as I bring the box from the packaging, yeah, they would have to have that crazy pixelated deco, and I wouldn't want that for them. Actually, the only thing that would have been nice that they had would be the black panel lining. That would have been nice. I think that's the one thing I would have taken from the video game, is to have some black panel lining on the purple armor. It didn't have to be on the pink parts, but definitely on the purple would have been really nice, and have some on the face too. Are these guys perfect? No, they got some flaws to them, you know, but they also have some cool qualities, and we'll go over them. Like, for instance, let's start off with the negatives here. You can see that the pinless knee joints and elbow joints mismatch color tones. I don't know what it is with Hasbro, but they are hit or miss with these. As you can see, it's almost like it's yellowing. You know, when I took these out of the packaging, I noticed that instantly. Is that why are these guys yellowing? It's like if you opened up a figure that was in the card for what, 30 plus years, and it has that yellowing stain on the plastic. It's like you opened up a figure like that straight out of the packaging and it has some yellowing on it. Do you want that when you open up a figure? Do you want some yellowing looking stains? No. You know, and that's what it looks like. So it is very unpleasant to the eye. You can even see it on the rest of the hinge there. Oh, that does not look good. However, the face, it looks so good. It has that, like I said, I think they were going for that kind of pixelated look on the face, but almost cel-shaded like. I don't know. I think it works here. It looks very Sentinel'S. I know that's not a word, but I'm not trying to be a grammar king here. And I just think the way the eyes pop out, very piercing. I just get Sentinel vibes and I love it. Again, black panel lining would have been great on the helmet. That would have been nice. But yeah, you look at the face and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a Sentinel. And the sculpt here, again, all new torso we're looking at. And the paint on mine came out clean, thankfully. So this is a really, really nice sculpt. I really dig it. You got some nice added details. Even the torso here, that's not painted on. That's actually sculpted. They did not go with the ab crunch. They went with the upper torso swivel and the hardline waist swivel. And I can see why, because that probably would have broken up the aesthetics here. And yeah, it looks good for Iron Man, but I don't think it would have looked good for this Sentinel, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. Maybe they could have gotten away with the ab crunch, but I'll take the side-to-side pivoting here. But yeah, the purple looks good on it. The pink looks good on it, besides, you know, the elbows and knees. He got his armored undies right there. Paint is clean on mine. And the fists, you can see some panel lining on the fingers too, so I believe these are new too. I'm convinced that, yeah, it's all new sculpt from scratch. It's gotta be. I don't even recall these legs on an older figure. And if I'm wrong, you know, correct me, because, you know, I'll be surprised to know they were on an existing figure already. These boots are really good. They look nice. For functionality, not so much, because, well, we'll get to articulation later. I'm just admiring the sculpt here, and the boots look really nice underneath there. Line work right there on the heels. That would have been nice if they painted this in yellow. But yeah, aesthetic-wise, this is as robotic as it gets for a mini Sentinel, and I'll take it. Now for accessories, you get extra open hands and 2 blasters to plug into the hands. And as you can see, these open hands have the panel linings on the fingers too. Now the pack should have came with 4, so if you got an additional pack, you can plug in extra effects at the feet too. But video game accuracy wise, they were not in orange. They were actually blue, so if you have any of the blue blasters, you can plug them underneath the feet. And lastly, they come with their iconic rocks that they can throw at their opponents from the game. And I just love this. So you can just, bam, recreate that scene from the game. And it's so unserious. I freaking love it. And this rock came out nicely detailed. You can see some of the paint details on there. It has great texture amongst the, you know, the cracks and these small pebbles, and really nice throughout. It's a great feel, very light though, so you can, you know, just pick someone in the head if you want with it. I don't think that's even on the warning label. I don't know why, looking at this rock, it reminds me of that Batman animated series where some of his rogues gallery are sitting at a round table discussing about how they took out Batman, and Killer Croc just said, "I throw a rock at him." It's pure silence. Oh, that was comedy gold. But yeah, this is very light, and it has these sort of grooves, I want to say, that pretty much gives you the hint to place the hands underneath the rock for the Sentinels. So easy to hold once you have the hands in the right positioning, so that way he has a good grip on them. This looks really nice. I really like the way this looks. Alright, just gotta do it again because it's so much fun. And I know people are going to ask me how T-Rex looks on this rock, so here you go. He does stand on it, but the problem is this rock won't stand because it's not flat on the bottom, so it's only flat on the top. If you want to, you're going to have to try doing something like this to kind of get away with it and work around it, but it's not going to look natural. But on a display, you might be able to get away with it. Can't promise you he's going to stay stabilized though. He might topple over, and you're just asking for an avalanche on your shelf at that point. And to add more replay value to these Sentinels, you can take the tentacles from the Omega Red figure and plug them in the open hands. You might run into a slight resistance as the small ones are oddly shaped, but you know, apply some more pressure and you'll get them through, and these look great. I like them. Then one of my favorite additions to spice up their looks a bit, if you have the X-Men 97 Executioner figure, he comes with that Sentinel propulsion cannon, and you could just plug it into the arm, and look at that. That looks badass. And, you know, with the colors, the yellow and all that, that just blends in. The purple is not exactly the same color match, but it's passable. So some cool options for display and play. They only come with 1 rock per pack, so you would need to get multiple sets to get more rock throwing Sentinels if you plan on displaying them like that on your shelves or photography or whatever. I do wish they came with a battle damaged head just for more fun. I don't have the 8-inch Sentinel that came in the Marvel Legends Retro 3 3/4 line. And I wonder if that battle damaged head can fit on here, or even that tentacle. I highly doubt it, but if you have them and have these too, then let me know, because I like to expand my playability and I would grab a few if that can be done. Now to cover articulation. Actually, wait, before I do, one thing I forgot to point out when I was talking about the face sculpt is how the eyes really pop. Whether you have a dim lighting or a bright lighting, it just looks like it pops. Now I'm going to bring this underlight here and turn it on, and just to show you how beautiful it pops out. Like, damn, it looks intimidating. I love it. Alright, anyway, let's get to articulation here. And with articulation on this guy, it's as robotic as it could get for a Sentinel. So his head looks about that far up. You got to put some pressure. It's not much. It is not much at all. It looks that far down, which is not that bad. He does have some really good pivoting, though. You know, if you apply some pressure side to side, it's not that bad. Move it left and right. You could pop off the head, and yeah, because of this neck right here, you know, it's very roundish. It leaves little room to wiggle around. You might have to shave a few centimeters around this thing if you want some more range, but that's up to you if you want to mod it. The arms, surprisingly, move slightly higher than a T-pose. Despite all this bulky armor right there on the shoulder pads, I'm pretty impressed by that. It moves down, you know, you can swing them around, and no butterfly joints, doesn't need it, I don't think. And you got the bicep swivel there, double jointed pinless elbows, so good range, wrist swivel, wrist hinge, and then the upper torso swivel, so you get about that much of a crunch, not much. Then back, you get swivel at the torso, you know, some good pivoting, so I like that, and you can rock that around. You get a hardline waist swivel there at the waist. The legs, they move about that far apart, and they kick up that far outwards a little, and I will say there's a slight resistance when pushing these things up, and I do recommend you heat them up a bit. But even with heating them up, I still feel like it's just some resistance. I feel like there should be more clicks, and I only hear one click when I move up or down. So it's not terrible, but it's not that great either. And they move that far back, and you can rock the legs around. You got the thigh swivel. Double jointed knees, no heel to the Sentinel, but you do get a boot swivel though, so that's nice. And the ankles, well, just like every Sentinel figure, the Sentinel's ankles, they always suck. The ankles suck on every Sentinel figure. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. They really make them bulky, but they didn't give this enough room. I mean, you do get the swivel, which is nice. All right, you get a hinge up there that you can move up, slightly up, and slightly down, but it's the pivoting, man. The pivoting is where it's really weak. I need a little more room there. Sometimes it's not that bad, you know. You have to kind of play with that ankle swivel to get that deep pivot inward. It's doable. It is doable, but they're going to make you work for it. So this is how he looks like when you use the full maximum range of the ankle pivot on his widest stance possible, planted flat on the surface. So if this is okay with you, then you won't have a problem. Now let's compare these new Retro Arcade Series Sentinels next to some other Sentinels in the line. Here they are next to the HasLab Bastion and his Prime Sentinels. Here they are next to Nimrod, who is towering over them. Here they are next to the House of X Theta Sentinel Build-A-Figure. Here they are next to the Marvel Legends Days of the Futures Past Sentinel. Here they are next to the HasLab House of X Sentinel, but it looks crazier with the Master Mold head on, as it really looks to complement Master Mold scale more by making him look larger than life next to them. This is nice to play with scaling and photography, though I like how the Days of Futures Past Sentinels look better next to him. Lastly, here are the Retro Arcade Sentinels next to the X-Men Retro Arcade game roster. Man, I couldn't find my Brown Suit Wolverine and Jacketed Dazzler, as those are the correct looks from the game, and that's how I wanted to show you, but here are the characters nonetheless, so you can get an idea of scaling. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is a 9.25 out of 10. This set is exactly what it was set out to be, and that is to be just a purely fun army builder pack with enjoyable accessories that pays homage to the video game. I always say more army builders for your X-Men is always a good thing, as they are a large team, and it's always good to even the playing field or go crazy and completely overwhelm them. I like my heroes feeling overwhelmed to overcome their battles. My only complaints is the mismatched plastics on the elbows and knees and the articulation on the neck and ankles. Other than that, if there's anything else I'd fix, is the pink color. It's too damn bright and should be darker to an almost reddish pink kind of color, but I can get past it. I think the scaling is great from the game. Even though I wanted the typical 8 to 9 inch bath sizes for these, this is acceptable and more video game accurate. I know this will make a lot of collectors of the game happy, as they've been wanting these humanoid sized Sentinels, including myself, and I've been seeing customs of these for years being based off some Iron Man bodies. Not everyone will find the appeal to these smaller sized Sentinels, but this is mainly fan service catering to that retro video game audience that have been clamoring for this for years. Being priced at $54.99, the price is not even at fault here. Making them a 2-pack was the best way to go, as it's an army builder. I've seen 2-packs like Destiny and Rogue for $50 with only one set of extra hands. So for this, coming with multiple hands, effects, and a huge rock is acceptable. Making it an exclusive is not acceptable. Hasbro just loves screwing over the community by constantly making every Sentinel an exclusive, and sadly, they'll never stop that. This should have been a general release spanning throughout all their retail channels. Don't know if they plan on making color variations like in the game, but that's another route they can take if they wish to do so. They made all new scopes for these, so I don't see them wasting it just like that. Regardless, this pack is so much fun, and it is definitely one of the figures I've enjoyed most this year. There's just something about Sentinels that I adore. I'm a sucker for these mutant hunting robots. They get me every time. I love the 92 retro X-Men game, and these Sentinels bit me hard with the nostalgic bug. I don't care if I'm being heavily X-Men biased, but these are still top 10 worthy, hands down, and I stand by that. Again, replay value is king, and that's what I get here. I'm going to keep coming back to this. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of these retro arcade Sentinels? What are your pros and cons? Are there any accessories you would like to have seen added? What retro video game homage you'd like to see next in the line? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xmanny87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.